Jasmine at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Today I will be presenting on mainstream versus ethnic American English, race, and perceptions of risk. So unfortunately, our nation has been built on oppression of racial minorities. This has been deeply embedded into our social structure. Fagan 2006 describes how our nation favors the white male. And this has bled into major U.S. institutions such as healthcare, academia, and the criminal justice system. So focusing on the criminal justice system, one example where we see this is in policing policies such as stop and frisk in New York. So, and with this policy, police officers are able to temporarily detain, question, and search individuals for weapons or illegal contraband. However, according to NYCLU numbers from 2019, stop percentages are broken down to 53% Black, 28% Latinx, and 11% white. So we're able to see the racial disparity there. Another area where you see this racial disparity is in probation. According to Janetta et al. 2014, Black individuals are revoked at a higher rate compared to white or Latino offenders. And according to Graham and Lowry 2004, juvenile probation officers primed with words associated with African Americans perceive the hypothetical suspect as more blameworthy, more deserving of punishment, and more likely to reoffend again. Based on our previous research, this leads us into our overarching question, which is how does an offender's race and language, so meaning speaking either mainstream American English or ethnic American English, affect probation officers' perceptions of risk of their client. So for this study, we had 305 MTurk participants. We removed four for attention check failures, so that left us with 301. Just as a typical MTurk sample, we had mostly white and mostly female. So for this design, it was a 2x3 between subjects design. Participants were either randomly assigned to listen to a mainstream American English accent or an ethnic American English accent. They were also randomly assigned to view a picture of the offender with a little bio that include name, age, race, and where the offender was from. They were all the same. What varied was race and the name of the offender. The audio file that they listened to was an interview between a probation officer and an offender. I was able to transcribe a training video that I received from a Nebraskan probation education director. Once I transcribed this, a professor from the linguist department at the University of Texas, El Paso, transcribed these into the different ethnic Englishes, which are African American Vernacular English, Spanglish, and Southern Rural English. Here's a little snippet of that, and I'm gonna play if it works. I might have to exit. Yeah. So this is the mainstream.
I was 15 and we had a couple of friends. We broke into a house and stole a bunch of stuff. And
this would be the African American vernacular. And then this one would be Spanglish.
But I was 15 and a couple of friends that had broke into a house and stole a bunch of stuff.
And then this is the Southern Rural.
But I was 15 and me and a couple of friends broke into a house and stole a bunch of stuff.
I was fortunate to have Filipino undergraduate students from the theater department record these for me, and it was one undergrad that did all 3 accents. So after the participants heard the audio file, they rated the offender on various scales, one being the stereotype content model. We asked them how they believed American society as a whole perceived the offender and how they would personally perceive the offender on various things such as competence, competitiveness, confidence, intelligence, and more. Additionally, we also asked questions on credibility, dangerousness, likelihood to recidivate, and perceptions of supervision needed. So we hypothesized that mainstream speaking offenders would be less risky than ethnic speaking offenders. Our second hypothesis was that in the mainstream condition, participants would perceive the white offender as being less risky, followed by the Latino offender, and then the Black offender. Our third hypothesis was those in the ethnic condition, participants would perceive the white offender as the least risky. However, the Latino offender could be equal or less risk than the Black offender, and then overall, participants would perceive the white offender in the mainstream condition as the least risky. So for the warm scale, we had a reliability of 0.83. The 4 items included were how warm, sincere, good-natured, and tolerant would American society as a whole rate the offender. And then for the competence scale, we found a reliability of 0.85, and that was 5 items of how confident, independent, intelligent, competitive, and competent would American society as a whole rate the offender. So in a generalized linear model analysis, we found a significant univariate language effect on how many times the offender should meet with their probation in a 2-month period for the basic model, which was race by language. And as you can see, we found that participants believe that the offenders who spoke mainstream should see or meet with their probation officers more than those who speak ethnic, which was contrary to our hypothesis. But this could be because participants perhaps viewed the ethnic speaking offender as more genuine, or maybe they didn't understand that meeting with their probation more meant that they needed to be supervised more, therefore it meant that they were higher risk or more dangerous. We then looked at warmth and competence as moderators for the relationship between race and language, and we found a significant 3-way interaction. Here we see that those who spoke ethnic American English were perceived as as more dangerous than those who spoke mainstream. Next, we ran an ANCOVA with warmth and competence as covariates, and we found a significant 3-way interaction between language competence and warmth. Once again, we saw that those who spoke ethnic English were perceived as being more dangerous. We then further teased this apart in process, and as you can see, as levels of warmth increases, levels of perception of dangerousness decreases for those who speak mainstream, but as warmth increases, the perceptions of dangerousness for those who speak ethnic increases. We found a similar pattern for competence. As competence increases, perceptions of dangerousness decreases only for those who speak mainstream, but increases for those who speak ethnic. So overall, these results suggest that those individuals speaking ethnic American English in the criminal justice system are at a significant disadvantage compared to their counterparts who speak mainstream American English. This is important to keep in mind when making legal decisions about offenders. There should be a safeguard in place that allows probation officers to only make decisions based on risk level that can be obtained by a risk tool such as the LSCMI and not be influenced by their language type. Additionally, awareness of competence and warmth perceptions should be salient, as we saw those affected how they perceive their clients. And for the next steps for this project, we would like to have a manipulation of information processing. So have the participants either process information either rationally or experientially, and have a better, we also want a better measurement of risk, because as of now we just ask them how dangerous they perceive the offender, how likely is the offender to recidivate, and how much supervision they need.